Hey there fellow adult collectors, welcome back. David Eon here with yet another Mezco 112 Collective unboxing. As you all know, I am a big fan of the 112 style action figure, and today we have Cable, and this is the regular edition of Cable, or the Rob Liefeld edition, if you will. They don't call it that, but to me that kind of more resembles Rob Liefeld's approach. Whereas the other Cable, we'll go ahead and start getting into this, the other Cable that was released as a PX Previews exclusive resembles more closely Jim Lee's artwork. And basically this is just the standard sleeve style, so we'll go ahead and slip him out. And on the back of the package you see everything that should come with this. So this one, of course, has 8 total hands, 2 heads, a pistol, a knife, and a grenade launcher and a large rifle with removable magazines, and does have light up features like the other one. The other one came with a spear instead of a knife. So let's go ahead and start getting into this, and you see my first full appearance of Cable New Mutants number 87 sitting back there. I might send that in to get graded at some point. It's actually in really high grade condition. Well, there he is in the package, but still kind of hard to see. We'll go ahead and open that up, and as usual I will show you really quickly if you've never seen before. Real simple way: go to the bottom, slide a tool, a knife or something into the bottom, and just give it a little twist so that you can pop that flap out without making wrinkles in the lid, because that's a concern for some people that want to preserve the packaging. And there is your Mezco warning. Oh, this isn't the warning page. Usually there's a warning slip in here, unless I overlooked it already. This shows you where the battery pack goes. Okay. There's the warning. It says pose, play, and display, but then don't play with it because you'll break it up. So pose and display, folks. Don't play with it. Two-part clamshell, as usual. And I just did an unboxing for a Cable not too long ago, and it was the Jim Lee stylized Cable. So if you haven't seen that one, go ahead and take that off his face. It's got the wrap on there. And I'll actually pull the other Cable out and we'll put them side by side once we get him out of the packaging. And then down here, the arm, the bag, and the batteries. So let's go ahead and get him out of there and take a look at all of his accessories. And here we go with our Mezco 112 Collective Standard Edition Cable out of the box. I do like the overall look of the costuming. Again, to me this more resembles the type of style that you would have seen from Rob Liefeld, who actually was the artist of the New Mutants at that time. You see the Rob Liefeld Cable there. And the other Cable, the PX Previews exclusive that came in the tin, which I did a review of a couple of weeks back, looks more like Jim Lee's X-Men, the style of his costume. And to me this one looks kind of larger than the other Cable, and I have him out and I'm going to put them side by side here in a moment. But I do like the way he looks. Concerns, just looking at him, I'm a little concerned about that big chest plate restricting movement. So that would hinder some of the posability of the figure, which you often see with these figures, both with 1/12 and 1/6 scale, is that sometimes too much costuming, bulky costuming, can make it very difficult to pose these. Another problem already, a close up on that sculpt, the head actually looks pretty decent on these. And I like how there's like chips and splits in the armor like he's been fighting. Another problem I ran into, which I haven't had to say this in a while, is with the foot peg. You notice he's not even on it because the holes in the bottoms are too small for the peg, so it will not go on the peg at all. I cannot press that down into the peg. And there's been a lot of problems in the past with Mezco 1/12 figures with pegs that are either too large or too small, and so there's never a good fit and the figures fall over easily. And they've been pretty good about it recently where the pegs are a decent fit, but this one is off again. And here is the other cable. And I know his knee is bent, but he does appear, I don't know, we can straighten him out real quick. And yeah, the other cable is definitely a little bit taller, like 1/4 of an inch taller there, you see. Because 1/12 scale figures are typically between 6 and 7 inches depending upon the character, and for comparison, here is, oops, Ali knocked him out. Here is a modern or new Mego Muhammad Ali to give you a size comparison. This would be like a 1/9 scale if I'm not mixing my scales up. But there you saw the cable, and you see also that the accessories are the same exact accessories for the most part. Here's his sidearm. It's the same sidearm as the new one, and I'll pick it up real quick there. But he has this spear, and this cable came with a knife. He came with like what looks like a K-bar. So let's pull him off here and take a look at his articulation. Or actually, I'll show you the accessories first. That's usually what I do. I'm getting ahead of myself. So he's got a grenade launcher, and this does rotate in here, although it's not very easy. But that is the grenade launcher, and I do like this piece. It's got a lot of good detail on it. Here's the big rifle, and it does take a magazine. No, I do not believe this lights up. It's translucent green in there, but so far as I can tell, it does not take any batteries. And then you take the magazine and you slip it right in there, and that's how you load the magazine. It has 2 of them in case you lose one, I guess. Here is his K-bar, his knife. It's a pretty sharp point on it, actually. His sidearm, which is the same exact, again, sidearm as the other one. And I believe the heads are exactly the same as well. The grimacing face, and these should be a light up feature. You see how it is inside there, and it shines up through the neck. And the eye effect on this one actually works pretty well, as I saw on the other cable when I did the unboxing for that one. 2 trigger finger hands. A lot of great detail on both the gloved and the cybernetic hand. They did a great job with sculpting on these. 2 clutching hands, and he's got fists on the figure, but 2 clutching hands if you want him to hold something, like he can hold the knife, or this hand is used to hold the spear on the other version. And then 2 clutching, grasping, reaching hands. And then of course you've got the arm, the batteries, and the 1/12 collective bag. So now we'll take a look at them. Head movement seems a little more limited than the other one, and I wonder if it's because this is fixed. On the other figure, the entire neck joint comes out and the batteries go in the neck. On this one, the neck is fixed, and so his head movement, it comes on and off easy enough, but the head movement seems kind of restricted. It feels very tight. Arm and shoulder movement, that's probably about as high as you're going to get because the shoulder pads are obstructing the movement of the arm. Double jointed elbow, so that's good. Double jointed elbows. The arms move freely. It's just that the shoulder pads are blocking them from going too much higher. Wrist articulation is really good. And something else that they've improved on recently is some of these wrists are a lot larger. So doing hand changes, if you can see that peg, if you're used to the old style, the hand changes have improved. So it's easier to snap that in and out without feeling like you're going to break it off. Ab crunch. He does ab crunch. You see it splits right there so that you can get some movement, but it still doesn't come forward very much or side to side, and it's being blocked by the pouches, which I expected that. And back in here somewhere is where you're supposed to change the battery, and I'll have to go back to that and take that out here in a minute and see if I can get him lit up. There's a holster. Oh, here's where the pistol goes. There's where the knife goes. Good splits. You notice that his jeans, his pants are baggy, they're not tight fitting, so you're not likely to rip these, and I like that. Good forward leg motion, good backward leg motion. You can get a good stride out of them. Double jointed knee, somewhat obstructed by the pouches. Good twist at the calves. Very, very limited ankle articulation on account of the boots. Overall, not too bad. Most of the obstruction is in the torso. So let's go ahead and get into that battery pack and get his eye lit up. Okay, so here we go. It looks. Basically, this just slides up like that, and here's the battery pack component. But this one lights up a lot more than the other one did, and I'll show you here. We'll go ahead and turn him on, and you see already that he lit up on his back right there, but also not only does his eye light up, but his whole chest panel does. And we get this cable out here, and the thing with cable number 2 here, the PX Previews exclusive version, is you've got to take off the head, unscrew the neck joint like that, right? And then the switch is on the bottom there. And now that's lit up, and you can go ahead and insert it back in. I got it backwards. Insert it back in, pop the head back on, and now you got the light up eye. And I'll dim the lights a little bit here real quick so you can get a better idea of the effect. That's about dark enough. And this works really well, and a lot of these light up features don't work very well on these figures, but these do. I know if you've worked with Mezco 112 figures before, you know some of those light up features are kind of disappointing, but these actually show through really nicely, so I like that. So now that we got that figured out, turn the light back on, let's go ahead and bring him down into the museum and put him in with the rest of the figures and see how he looks. And here we are back down in the museum, and where the heck are my Mezco 112 figures? They were right there, but as you can probably see, or if you've been watching and you saw our last behind the scenes video, we've done a lot of rearranging. I've got a lot of stuff to work with and have made some new spaces so that I can fit things in better. And the new home of the Mezcos is right over here on this wall now. This is where I've moved the Mezcos to, and this is where we will find the new, or as I've stated in my opinion, the Rob Liefeld looking cable right next to the Jim Lee looking cable, right next to the 80s version of Cyclops. I do not have the Jim Lee version of Cyclops, but he is on the radar if I can find one. I don't have like an unlimited income. Most of these I've traded for, or you know, I've managed to get a really amazing deal on it. But back to the point, just taking a look at the cable overall. Again, he has the knife which pouches right there, or sheaths right there, as opposed to the spear. He is a little larger. More light up features on this one. I do like the overall look of the figure. His neck articulation isn't that great because of the way he's set up, but you know, it's manageable. The torso does have restrictions because of the armor, but the rest of him moves and articulates really well. It would have been nice if they had made a hole down the barrel right there instead of just having that kind of plugged up, because it doesn't look right looking at the front of the guns to see like that space. But the guns themselves are well sculpted. Well sculpted. And his articulation isn't so bad, just really the neck and upper part of the torso. Ab crunch doesn't really work. But the leg and arm movement otherwise is really good. I was a little disappointed that the foot peg doesn't even work with this one. As I've stated before with certain other figures, the foot pegs, they're terrible. This one is always falling down. Wonder Woman's always falling over. Catwoman is always falling over. Batman. I mean, there's a handful of these figures that they're always toppling over because the foot pegs just don't work. The peg is too big, or the hole rather is too big for the foot peg, or the ankle is so weak that he just topples. This one doesn't even have a foot peg, although there's a peg on the stand. I have to use the stand because his shoes, the way that they're designed, I forget what you call those shoes, he can't really stand on his own. So there's always seems like there's almost always a problem there, because some of these newer figures, like the Cable I just did a review of, and Nosferatu, they kind of work better. Nosferatu's ankles are kind of weak though. It's hard for him to stand on the peg too, if I'm being honest. But it's a common problem that comes and goes with Mezco. I've gone on enough about the foot peg now. But overall, I do like the figure. I'm a big fan of the Mezco 112 collective. I like the way he looks. I like the way he poses. I think he fits in really well. Do you have this figure, or is this one that you're interested in? Has seeing this video helped you make a decision either for or against? Because it's all up to you. You know, it's about what you like when you're collecting for yourself. Let me know what your thoughts are. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you got something out of it. Share it if you can. Subscribe if you're new. All that good stuff. Find our social media. Facebook and Instagram and everything is posted down below. Check out some of our other videos for more unboxings. I've got a ton of unboxings of not just Mezcos, but lots of other figures. I do 1/6 scale unboxings as well. And I do showcases of vintage action figures. My wife and I do discussions down here about adult collecting and the toy industry and things like that. Lots to consider. We do a lot in Open by Chance. So check us out. You may find something you like. And what more can I say but thanks for watching. And we will see you again soon.